Hey, good morning. I just got back from buying more coffee.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't have any. Sensei, do you need to test the sound? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fall Ohigan service. Very excited to have you here, and I'm excited to be here. Why don't we begin our service? We're going to do Dharma School first. So we'll do, I can see, I have to kind of stand on tippy toes to see all of you. But why don't we start with Nembutsu Chanting? Okay, so this is when we chant Namo Amida Butsu. I'll do it once, and then we'll do it 5 times together, okay? So here we go. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Okay, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Great, good job. Many of us, maybe all of you, are in Gassho, and if you ever forget, you can see Gassho Bear is helping us remember to do Gassho. Okay, so I want to talk briefly. Last week, what did we talk about, and what did you make? Buddhist symbols, right? And so we talked about some different Buddhist symbols. What did we have? The Dharma wheel, wisteria, Gassho. I think in the class, if you went to class, you even had endless knot, right? There are these different symbols that we have in Buddhism. Why? Why do we need Buddhist symbols? Yeah, you can shout it out if you got a thought. Yeah, but that's good. You know what it is? One of it is to make me think about Buddhism. So if I see a Buddhist symbol, maybe it makes me think about Buddhism. Right? So, but you know what? It's not just, oh yeah, Buddhism. I know that, right? That's not the point. The point is to remember what Buddhism is about, right? So that it can help remind us what's Buddhism about. So last time we had these kind of picture symbols, right? Pictures of things, but there's other kinds of symbols. And so one is called an acronym. And I heard an acronym in the office this morning. JIC. It sounds like it might be some like Japanese food corporation or something, but it's not. Just in case. Okay, so we have the letters JIC, and it makes me remember, oh yeah, just in case. I got to print extra copies just in case. Maybe we'll get like 100 people today. So just in case, maybe I got to make some extra copies, right? So, but that's nothing to do with Buddhism. Here's a Buddhist one that I think some of you know. Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, right? Have you ever heard that before? You're like, what does that have to do with Buddhism, right? If you heard of it, you're like, yeah, sensei, I know that one. But if you haven't heard it before, you're like, that doesn't sound Buddhist, right? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. And that's to remind us of something that we think about at this time of Ohigan, and that's generosity, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. Okay, so you have to think, okay, I can't remember generosity, something, right? But what something about grandpa, right? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Can you memorize that? Should we say it together? This will help memorize it. Ready? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. So then you have those letters, G, D, P, E, M, W. I can only do that, but the letters by looking at my page, right? So I really have to think, okay, Grandpa, G, delivers, D, pizza, P, right? So then if I can get those letters figured out, I get Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday memorized, and then I can go, aha, generosity, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. It's not easy, but the cool thing is Ohigan happens twice a year. Ohigan is when day and night are equal, right? It's the season. So next week, I think it's Thursday or Friday, is the actual Ohigan, when the day and night are actually equal. So in Japan, that was a really important time for Buddhists to study. I think because Kyoto and Nara are so hot in the summer and so cold in the winter that they loved spring and fall. And they're like, finally, I can relax, I can concentrate, let's study Buddhism, right? And so Ohigan happens twice a year, right? It's happening now, and it's going to happen in the spring too. So we get to hear this like twice a year and try and remember these, right? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. So generosity. Now, okay, so what? What's so great about generosity? Well, that's what Buddhists do. It's like Buddhist values, right? That we want to be kind, we want to be gentle, we want to be generous, right? Discipline, to try our best. Patience, sometimes we get frustrated, but we got to be patient, right? So that I hope maybe when you get frustrated, you're trying to do a homework problem or something, and it's really frustrating, and then you remember, Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. Yeah, patience. Okay, I'm going to try again. I'm getting frustrated, but I want to be patient. And I want to put in the effort. I want to try. I got to try again. Okay? So that I hope that when we have some difficulty in life, that maybe maybe you'll see a Dharma wheel that you have up on your wall or something. Be like, oh yeah, okay, I got to have discipline. I got to be patient. I got to have effort, right? That these symbols help remind us of these teachings of Buddhism. They help remind us of what we're aiming for. They help remind us to try harder, right? To try my best. So I was thinking maybe it's kind of like a role model in a way. Sometimes we have role models. It might be your parents, or it might be a teacher, or it might be older friend or older sibling, right? And so we have these role models in our life, and they remind us too. They encourage us to try our best. So one of my role models is named Reverend Dr. Seigen Yamaoka, and he was a minister here before me. He moved away, but we used to be able to see him around more. But he actually wrote a song, and the song is called Higan 1. Can we pass out the Higan paper? So this is a song that he wrote a long time ago. I'm actually working on a video. I interviewed him about it, and so I'm going to try to put together a video. I've done a few different versions of this song, and so we did it back in the spring for Ohigan, but I want to try it again. So we're going to pass out the lyrics, and we'll all sing together, and then we'll dismiss you. So hold on. Okay. So hang on a second while we pass these out. Oh, I got to put this full screen, and I'll figure out the internet. Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody got it? Oh, do we not have enough? We got some more. I don't know what key it's in, but I'm playing it here. I don't know the key that I'm playing it in here. Okay, ready? Oh, hold on a sec. I'm gonna check the chat. Okay, now I gotta do something crazy. I gotta push 2 buttons at the same time. Like this. Okay, ready? become one with self and all. The autumn sky, its golden haze, in its radiant splendor. All right, let's put our hands together in Gassho. Thank you, everyone. Whenever we see a Buddhist symbol, let's think about Buddhism. And whenever we're having some difficulties, maybe find a Buddhist symbol to remind us of Buddhist teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namam Namam. Okay, so we're gonna excuse Dharma School students to their class, and then we'll begin the Dharma family service. Okay, Ooh, let's come on back. So let's begin our Dharma family service. And do you have the words for Juseige? No. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Well, we chanted Nembutsu. Why don't we continue with the Dharma talk? So this is Ohigan, which is the equinox, right? It's this time of the equinox. And I think it's really interesting because we have different special services in Buddhism. I think often they're associated with the life of someone in Buddhism, right? That like Shakyamuni Buddha, Hanamatsuri, Buddha's birthday. John, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hanamatsuri for Buddha's birthday, Ho'onko for Shinran Shonin's memorial service. We do that in January. Gotane is Shinran Shonin's birthday, right? So a lot of times it's related to the life of like an important person. But New Year's and Higan are related to the calendar, right? They're related to something about the calendar. So, you know, New Year's is this beginning of the new year, but Higan's so interesting because it's about this time, this kind of astrological event, right? Of the tilting. I don't know if it's astrological actually, but it's the tilting, right? The tilting of the earth and the way the time of night and day changes. So I made this up, but I really think it is because of the extreme climate of Kyoto and Nara in Japan. That's kind of the seat of Japanese Buddhism. When that was Nara was the capital of Japan, and then Kyoto, Heian became the capital. And so that's where culture was centered in Japan. And that's where Buddhism really grew and flourished. Of course, it was in other areas, but it was that was kind of the center of Buddhism for so long. we hear about the Nara schools. If you go to Nara, the Daibutsu, the big Buddha statue, right, is there. The indoor one, there's an outdoor one in Kamakura, that's later. But the indoor one is this classic old statue. And that's where, you know, the Buddhism just grew and flourished. If you've ever lived there for like the whole year, it's really hot. It's really hot and humid. It's so hot and humid in Japan, just in general, but certainly Kyoto. I think Kyoto, because it's a bowl too. It's the mountains around it, and the humidity just sits there for the whole time. And then winter time too. I'm from I grew up in Massachusetts. It's cold in Massachusetts. I wasn't ready for Kyoto winter. It's like bone-chillingly cold, and that's like living in an apartment with a heater. Right. And so if we think about monks living in a monastery, whether they're in temples down in the city or up on the mountain, right, that Mount Hiei, that's where Tendai Buddhism is. And that's just really, where Japanese Buddhism really flourishes. It must have been freezing. How did you survive? I can't even imagine, right? Sitting in a hall, chanting and meditating and studying and all that kind of thing. We did it for ordination. We had to participate in like a 10-day ordination training session, and that was in Kyoto, over kind of on the western side. And they have a nice, snazzy new building, and I would say 90% of what we did was indoors. But there was a couple services where we had to go out to the traditional hondo, the traditional hall, kind of like this one, but much bigger, and chant, be criticized, right? Be instructed, and it was really rough. It was really amazing. And yet, sitting next to each other, we had to sit, in a line, and you're kind of up against each other, and you really appreciate it at that time because you're kind of sharing each other's warmth, as you're sitting here trying to chant correctly and everything. So spring and fall, right? It was just a really important time for Buddhism in Japan. And they would devote a week, right? They'd take a whole week and have lectures and study sessions, and doing that. We've transmitted that even to now, right? With Ohigan that we do here. Even, but that brings to mind, in India, there's a seasonal cyclical thing where during the rainy season, maybe that's what brought it to mind, right? That this isn't our traditional rainy season, but during the rainy season, they stopped wandering, and they would build temporary buildings, right? And they would stay there for a while. That the monks in India traditionally at the beginning, the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, they lived a life of wandering. They weren't supposed to settle down. You were supposed to wander, no attachments. And yet during the rainy season, it was dangerous. Walking around, you might kill animals just even as you're walking, and bugs, right? So Shakyamuni said, okay, let's stop wandering for a while. We'll build temporary structures, and we'll live here for a while during the rainy season. And then when the rainy season ends, knock it all down, get rid of it, and then start wandering again. So Buddhism has these seasonal, cyclical periods of study. It's kind of neat, huh? And at Nishihon Ganji, they do it even now. It's called the Ango, and it's this time of study that goes back to that study time of Shakyamuni. Right? So Higan is this kind of opportunity for us to be able to study Buddhism a little bit more, right? Think about Buddhism maybe a little bit more. Today's kind of odd with the rain and the storm and everything, right? Normally spring, Higan, fall, well, spring, maybe we might get some rain, right? But fall, Higan, usually not. But we can even consider that, right? Consider this kind of respite from the heat and the drought, and yet the kind of strangeness of the rain, right? Maybe reflect on that as part of our Ohigan reflections. So the Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. That's the 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections. This is the path to Buddhahood. This is what bodhisattvas do. Right? And so we know about the Eightfold Path, or maybe we don't, but there is this earlier idea of the Eightfold Path. But then this is a kind of a different idea, the 6 paramitas, or these things that we're supposed to try and perfect in our lives. And so generosity or giving, right, all the way to wisdom. The reason I'm putting it that way is because those are kind of the poles. Those are the most important pillars of this, I think, right? That this giving, generosity, but maybe we could call it compassion, right? And wisdom, right? So compassion is more, how do I interact with others? And then wisdom is more, how do I understand everything or anything, right? That there may be many ways to misunderstand things, or many ways to understand them from a certain perspective. But in Buddhism, this is the perfect wisdom of the Buddha, right? And how Buddha sees things. So I kind of like it, this wisdom and compassion, right? That these kind of 2 aspects, maybe we could say 2 wings of a bird or 2 sides of a coin, right? That this wisdom and compassion are so important and really key, right, for understanding Buddhism. But then my question comes, and this is kind of the question that I thought of earlier in the week that I just kind of wanted to think about. How do we find this wisdom and compassion in our lives? Right? How do we find this wisdom and compassion in our lives? And I think, one aspect is, well, isn't it something to think about? Right? This idea of reflecting and Ohigan and study. Okay, I'm going to study it. Right? I'm going to think about it. How would I want to attain wisdom? I want to become enlightened. Wisdom is basically enlightenment, right? Or awakening. I think I want to do that. How do I do that? Right? Maybe go off and meditate or something, which is the previous one, right? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday, meditation and wisdom. Right? And so maybe through meditation, I could awaken wisdom. Maybe try to be generous. We haven't been chanting or reciting the golden chain so much, but it says, I will be kind and gentle to every living thing, protecting all who are weaker than myself. Maybe I could try and take that on, right? Try and manifest this generosity, this giving. So I think it has to be more than intellectual, huh? It has to be more than just thinking about it. So, as much as the wisdom side seems to be maybe a kind of a mental kind of activity, right? And it's certainly something I think about. I could find books and read and think about it. But the generosity side, I think maybe that's more coming from the heart, right? Less of an intellectual thing and more of a kind of a feeling or even an attitude that could be cultivated. Right? An attitude of kindness, an attitude of generosity, right? Of giving. So, this wisdom and compassion, or giving and generosity and wisdom, right? Are these important things to think about. And I've referred to them as values, right? Values that we might hold as Buddhists, right? To have this aiming for this generosity, trying to be giving, trying to be kind, right? That is something good, right? Even if I can't do it all myself, it is something good that I want to aspire to at least. That wisdom, right? Even if I can't become enlightened and all of a sudden see everything is empty and impermanent and all this stuff, right? At least I can understand that as what Buddha ultimately teaches, so that when I do attach to things and I don't want things to be impermanent and I obviously not enlightened, at least I understand that in contrast to enlightenment, right? In the context of enlightenment. So the giving or generosity is maybe the most important part of it. Is it's often referred to as selfless giving. Giving without thought of oneself, purely for the sake of the other. And so that makes it that much harder all of a sudden, right? And I always go back to when I was a student. I was studying at IBS in the 90s when I moved out here. And so I'd have to walk by People's Park to go down to school. And so sometimes once I put a dollar in my pocket, thinking, hey, if anyone asks me for money, I'm going to give them $1, right? So I'm walking down the street at People's Park. Someone says, can you spare a quarter? And I was like, oh yeah, here, have $1. Right? I'm like, and I keep walking and I go, and I was like, man, he didn't even say thank you. Right? He didn't even thank me for this. I gave him 4 times as much as he asked for. Right? He asked for a quarter. I gave him a whole $1. Right? And no thanks, no recognition, right? No gratitude. And then it just struck me, right? Who did I give this $1 for? Right? Was I really trying to help this person, or was it for me? Right? Was it more for myself, right? To for whatever reason, right? Make me feel good about myself or whatever. So I don't think it's 100% one or the other, but it was this opportunity for reflection, right? That this was not a case of selfless giving. It was giving, right? But it wasn't purely for the sake of the other. And then I realized if I was really going to help them, shouldn't I like invite them back to the dorm? Take a shower, here's some food, here's some money. Can I buy you some clothes? Let's try and get you a job. You know, it's like, could I do that? Would that really help? You know? So I thought about this all the way, going to school, I remember, and I can still picture the spot almost, right? Where I was walking down the street. And, so that's why I see these less as practices that we're supposed to do and more as values to aspire towards, right? And that this giving, generosity, compassion, right, is, we can't just, oh, I can't do it, so forget about it. Not necessary. I don't need to think about it. No, right? That this is our highest values, is this compassion, selfless giving, right? This compassion. And in Buddhism, it's not just for people, it's compassion for all beings. I would probably think compassion for all existence, right? And then if we take interconnectedness into account, realizing, wow, okay, the everyone depends on each other, right? So when we destroy the planet, when we, just willfully say, I don't care, right? We accept about anything except money, right? Making money is the most important thing, and we'll do whatever it takes to do that. It's obviously not working, as we can see from the weather today and 2 weeks ago. Just really, I think we can see things kind of falling apart. So I think that this compassion and wisdom can really be part of moving forwards, right? Moving forwards. It's not something I can do by myself or you can do by yourself, but I hope that these values of wisdom and compassion can motivate us to try and make a difference, even if not for me or myself, but for coming generations. So the other aspect, right? How do we find wisdom and compassion in our lives? One is, well, try it. Try and do it. Can I do it? Does it have anything to do with my life? And think about my life and think about how wisdom and compassion might play a part in that. And maybe I'll find, yeah, I'm really into this, and that I really want to try and be kinder, right? To be more generous. I really want to learn more about this wisdom, right? Learn more about what Buddha is saying about the way things really are. But it's not just myself trying to make it happen. It's also, I think, finding wisdom and compassion out here. I mean, the immediate answer is maybe here, right? Buddha, Shinran, right? That we can say, okay, so wisdom and compassion are coming from them. but maybe I can even find it in places that I don't expect, right? And that anything that happens is an opportunity to find wisdom and compassion in my life. That, you know, so it kind of takes a different viewpoint to be able to see things not as they first appear to me, but reflect and maybe find something that I didn't recognize as wisdom and compassion later on does turn out to be that. So before, when I gave the $1, right, that I was thinking, here I am, Bodhisattva, so noble, giving this to the poor person, right? And this kind of me coming down kind of thing. But actually, later on, I found out, no, he was a teacher, right? That they were teaching me about myself, right? Teaching me about this wisdom and compassion. Okay? So that I found wisdom and compassion, not from within me, but coming to me. Actually, why don't we pass out Juseige? Let's do this. It's backwards day. It's equinox, right? So can we do that, John? Yeah. No, we got it. Don't we have it somewhere? And we'll conclude on that because that's often what happens. See, that's when I look at things and I think, oh yeah, I know what this is. Of course I'm right. Of course it's like this. That's when the warning bell should be going off and be like, wait, this is not wisdom. This is me stubbornly clinging to what I think is right or attaching to a view that I haven't been able to go beyond, right? Or only looking from my perspective, right? Stuck in my perspective. I may not be able to awaken wisdom, but realizing, whoa, I'm stuck. That was me. That was nothing to do with Buddha. That was totally me in my arrogance or ignorance, right? And yet that's part of the process. So by doing it backwards, we twist things around a little bit. And why don't let's conclude the Dharma talk first. We're almost done with turning these things out. So yeah, so let's conclude the Dharma talk with Kansho. So thank you very much, everyone. Reflecting on this wisdom and compassion, this generosity and wisdom. Let's go back to our lives, live our lives, and yet thinking, how do we find wisdom and compassion in our lives? Something within and also something without. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, so now you have Juseige, right? And so let's chant Juseige. Now, Juseige is a part of a sutra. It's a part of one of Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings, sermons, right? About Amida Buddha, about the Pure Land. And so this is about the vows that Amida Buddha made when he was still a bodhisattva. So Dharmakara Bodhisattva, Amida Buddha did this stuff, the 6 paramitas, right? And they're mentioned in some of the texts even, right? And maybe not quite in this one, but he's at this point in the story, the king has become a bodhisattva. He's thought about what he wants to do, and then he makes 48 vows. And then after that, the way they did in Sanskrit texts, he says it normal language, and then he like spontaneously composes poetry and recites it in verse. And so the Chinese texts are like that too. So if you look at the text, it's all like regular characters and sentences. And then this section comes along and it's Ga Gon Cho Se Gan. It's a poem like in 5 character lines. So that's why we do Ga Gon Cho Se Gan, Hi Shi Mu Jo Do. We're reciting this poem of the Bodhisattva Dharmakara restating his vows. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen, and why don't we go ahead? We could start with Kansho. Namandam, 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 namandam. アゴンチョセガンヒシムジョドシガンフマンゾクセイフジョショガクガオムニョコフイダイセシュフサイショビングセイフジョショガクガシジョ仏道妙所長実法苦境未所門セイフ上昇学利欲人少年上映主凡行シグム浄土一生天人心人力縁大公不生無才道少女三苦名交際主役難回避知恵言滅死根門案閉塞小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満足異様の実法日月主樹期天候普賢一種解放像公正独法上大集中説法ししく供養一切仏具足主徳本元年出上満得意三害を如仏無下知通達未不詳願学エリク投資最小尊志願若国家大仙を感動国書天人東鎮妙見ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥 Dabutsu Ganni Shikudoku Byodo Seisai Dohoten Bodaishin Ojo Anako. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo. Okay. Let's do announcements. So Robert's on here. I'm going to replace the spotlight. And then I got to try and put the mic up there. So hold on. Okay. Go for it, Robert.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Sensei. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to the Buddhist Church of Oakland's Fall Ohigan service. There's a few announcements on behalf of the church, as well as the Buddhist Churches of America. First, if you could see our website, BuddhistChurchofOakland.org. And within that, just like to announce that the Dharma School has started its new year last week, and you heard Sensei talking about them this morning. So if you have a child or grandchild or friend, relative that be interested in the Dharma School, there's a page dedicated to that on the website. Also, again, for the children, we have our youth club basketball league, which is getting underway. So you could see information about the BCO Youth Club basketball league on our website. Also, the Buddhist Church of Oakland Golf Fun Day Out will be happening on Monday, September 26th. And I've already checked the weather. It's going to be 77 degrees over there at the Berkeley Country Club. So we hope you'll join in on the fun at the 2022 Berkeley BCO Golf Fun Day outing. Also, something I just found this morning on our website, the Dharma Wheels Foundation will have a Buddhist bike pilgrimage 2022 coming up. It looks like next weekend, September 24th and 25th, biking to places like Spirit Rock, the city of 101 Buddhas, and the Abhayagiri Buddhist monastery. So then I know a couple of members that might be interested in something like this. Again, it's the Buddhist Bike Pilgrimage 2022, next weekend, September 24th and 25th. Going to the Buddhist Churches of America, the BCA website, it's called BuddhistChurchesofAmerica.org. This is their page. There's you could see there's a number of articles and events. This one's happening at the end of October, and locations of our various temples, as well as messages from our bishop, Reverend Marvin Harada, other news, views, other Dharma services, and videos, as well as our fundraising campaign, Dharma Forward. That's on the Buddhist Churches of America website. Once again, this is our website. This is our donation support page, and we appreciate any donations given. And actually, you can go to that. Let's see. You scroll down, you can see donation to BCO, and for today, Ohigan Spring Fall Service. This is Fall Ohigan, so you can donate via our online donation buttons, as well as for various other reasons. And So we hope that you'll take a look at that. Otherwise, that's all I have. Once again, thank you very much. I guess I want to thank Reverend Bridge for officiating service, Steve Terusaki for playing the organ today, and also like to thank our host 5 group for providing refreshments for the people that are in person down at the church, as well as the people that take care of the Zoom crew and the YouTube presentation online. Thanks to them too. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much. And I'll send it back to Sensei.
Thank you, Robert. Put my spotlight back on. There. Okay, thank you very much. I think that this will conclude our service. Thank you for joining us, and you can come up and offer incense if you haven't had a chance to already. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Namo. for playing on Ohigan. The music you're playing. Oh, is that right?